Welcome around the Workstand. We have a very special episode today. I'm very excited. We have a special guest, Barbara, the leader of, I would say, like kind of like the backbone of Workstand, our client success manager. Welcome.
Hello, I'm here.
Yay.
Yay.
You are a very backbone-ish kind of person here at the company. You've been here forever. How long, Barbara, have you been here?
It will be 18 years in March.
Wow.
Wow.
So a really long time.
A really long time. Is it
Like
only Chip left that last you?
Yep. Chip is the
Wow.
Chip, then me, then Rod, and then new people. Well, 12 years ago, new people. 14 years ago.
And then it'd be like, yeah, maybe Brian Rawlings.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we were laughing in the last episode talking about this one coming, that you'd be here with us, that I'm pretty sure you were part of my interview process.
I totally was part of your interview process. Yeah.
So, you can't complain. At some
right.
level, you didn't complain enough then. I got in.
No.
So what all have you done in these 18 years here at was SmartEtailing, is now Workstamp?
Well, I started out as a support rep. I was the person who answered the calls and emails, did whatever that needed to be done as a support rep, and then moved to web services, we called it, which is now agency, since Harvest came into the mix. But we, did the work on people's websites and made those things happen for retailers instead of them having to take care of it themselves. Managed that team, and then moved over to sales when Harvest came in, because they had such a great agency marketing team. We didn't need me doing that. So then I moved to sales and helped sell responsive websites, and then moved back to client success, and then became the manager of client success. And that's been 6 years now, I think, that I've been manager of client success.
Wow.
And I'm remembering 6 years because James Lissy is celebrating his 5-year anniversary next week, and I know I hired him. So,
wow. James is just so bright and fresh. He just seems new all the time, although he's incredibly knowledgeable.
Yeah, it's got a good like fresh energy all the time. Never,
Yes, and inquisitive and good follow through.
Well, speaking about that team and James, tell us about the rest of the team. How many people are on the team? What's the general makeup and backgrounds of those folks?
Wow. So there are 9 people on the team. 8 are direct retailer contact. 1 is our technical support engineer. So let me start with the 8 first. So we've got James, and Brenna has, bike shop background, technical background. Allison Powers, everybody probably knows Allison Powers. Downhill ski background, mountain bike background, had some website background, and we took a chance, and she's amazing.
I think today's her birthday when we're recording this.
It is her birthday. Happy birthday, Allison. So I have to think about it.
Got Rod. Don't forget
Rod. Yes. Rod's been here a year less than me. So he's been here a long time. He's just amazing. He used to own a bike shop. And it was perfect because he knew all the things that we needed him to know about how to work with retailers. We have the Chris G's, Chris Gardner and Chris Glover, both bike shop experience. Chris Glover worked at Race Pace, and then moved here at just the perfect time when he needed something when they sold to Trek, and we needed somebody at that time. It just was perfect timing. Chris Gardner, similar story. His shop that he worked at didn't close, but he was ready for a little something more. And we were looking for people at the time. And he has a military background, so he's just like so by the books. It's amazing.
He's pretty mellow for ex-military. but you can definitely feel the structure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's seen some things. He can work well under pressure.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then Joseph.
And Joseph, yes, Joseph also has a bike shop background. Was in Colorado when we hired him, but has moved to Oregon. But yeah, just great bike shop background all the way around, except for James, who has a totally different background. But yeah, all fabulous people that actually are the client success
And then
support team.
and Raquel.
And then, yes, and then Raquel is the lead for our onboarding team. So she is the one who is now that first face of Workstand to all of our new retailers. We have Chris Gardner, Allison doing some of those, but Raquel is the one who's taking care of everyone before their site is live and making sure everything is handled well for them. So they're happy getting here and staying here.
It is that's kind of the largest team we've had there. We've been close, but this is consistently we've had a pretty large team there.
Yes. Yeah, this is a good number to have. I think we've been a little higher than that, but back down to 8, which is just feels like the perfect number to be able to handle calls, emails, chats, meeting requests, and anything else that gets thrown our way, which happens a lot. And then the one other person on the team is Amanda. Mm-hmm. She is our technical support engineer, which means she helps us figure out our problems. It's like, I can't figure out how to make this work. Try this, try this, try this. Help. We escalate a ticket to Amanda, and then she does it. She also runs reports for us and works with the catalog team on catalog things and with the agency team on any issues they're having, and works with the development team to make it all get fixed.
We had Lauren on, and if she was here, I'd tease her a little bit because you also have been a feeder source for many other parts of Workstand. So former CS folks, Greg is now in the agency working on Google Ads.
Yeah, Camilla
and
Selena,
Randy and Selena all came that are in the agency now. So you've helped those teams have better, more rounded understandings of what we do as a company, because there's just no better way to get the baptism by fire than answering those questions all day long.
Answering those questions, it really helps you understand it. I tell a new hire that it's going to take you 6 months to feel okay about things and a year to feel like you actually know what you're doing. But that's, we're all here to help, and we've got good resources and good training, and that helps make it all better.
What does, speaking of all those things, what does a day in the life of a CS rep feel like?
It feels like fun, because we get to help retailers figure out what's going on. The team takes turns being on a support shift. So 2 at a time. During the day, everybody gets a turn or 2, and they're going to answer calls, answer emails. And then once they've taken that call or email, figure out how to solve the issue or help them through whatever questions they have. Mm-hmm. And then when they're not on a support shift, they're doing the follow-up or background work to complete the request, or they are doing projects and working on other things.
Yeah. What kind, we always have kind of some special projects that your team has to handle. What are some of those projects, or what do they look like?
Well, some of the projects are like ongoing things, keeping the help center updated. And, we have a new feature. We got to post it on the help center, and so retailers know how to use it. We also have an internal help center that we call our wiki. And that's where like the extra information goes that a retailer doesn't need to see, but we do on process and things like that. So we need to keep those updated. Right now we're working on getting retailers to move from our current payment processor, which is WePay, to Stripe. And so we're figuring out how to make that happen so no one has to have their shopping cart turned off because they didn't do the right things. So that's what we'll spend the next couple of months doing.
Cool.
Those projects come up pretty regular. It seems like
there's always something.
They do.
Yeah.
Well, there's always a brand that needs some guidance on something or lots of different things.
Yeah.
And then of course, I think onboarding is something we've gotten really good at. And for years, I think all of us have had to try and address the struggles of bringing new clients on. But that seems like this is incredible how it is now. It took a long time to get there, didn't it?
It did. The CRM that we've been using for the last 4 years has made a huge difference in how we can make some automations happen so we can focus on actually helping the retailer and getting their site looking good instead of just taking the time to send an email when we can just set up a process that automatically reminds the retailer with an email, hey, don't forget to check back in. Or, hey, we've done this thing for you. But, these automated process allow us time to work on the site and do we call it a personalized build, where retailer fills out a form and we work with them to figure out what they need. And then we can make it just the way they want.
Well,
I imagine.
Oh, go ahead, Susie.
I imagine that being kind of the most overwhelming piece for a retailer, to like sign up, build a website, like that sounds really overwhelming, and learn a new software. So,
Yes.
so I think it's hard to, I think, really effectively communicate the importance of the work that team is doing.
Yeah, it's easy for some people to picture what they want and for us to and to communicate that, and then for us to make it happen. And for others, it's let me show you how this looks, and then they can say, no, maybe not that. So it's we work with the retailer to help them in whatever way they need help. But we do a lot for them to get them set up and to train them. And then of course training happens forever because that's some of those phone calls. It's not just this is a problem, fix it. It's how do I change the color of my template, or how do I make my homepage look better? Not just where did this price come from?
Yeah,
which,
you get
by the
those.
way, is our top. Yeah, that's our top question asked most months.
Well, that process and that team obviously affects new clients, but it really internally affects our vast retailer-facing sales team of me and Brian. Because it's just huge. Beautiful for the first time. Well, the last few years it's been this way that we're really able to confidently go, don't worry, this process is dialed. You'll love these people. Their job is to get you live. Frankly, you'll be the bottleneck. So if the more time you can give them, the faster they'll get you there. That's how we'll say Brian has a high attention to detail rather than calling him extremely picky. But I mean, he's very picky, and that process has made his life, because he signs up more website folks than anybody. I only do that when I'm covering for him, which is now because he took a vacation. Not that I'm upset about that or anything. But anyway, it's just been an amazing process. And because I have historically or in the past had some dealings with trying to lower the amount of time it takes people. I know how hard that is. And it's just a great job you guys have done with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Speaking of our clients, what's something you wish they knew about your team that they don't know?
Well, I would hope that our retailers all know how much the team cares about making the retailer happy and doing what they want. I don't know. Do they know that we're all remote? Nobody sits in an office together?
I don't think everybody knows that, because I get asked that a lot. That people ask me where I am, where our office is. So I don't think everybody knows that.
Yeah, that Colorado-based phone number doesn't mean that I'm in Colorado.
Right. That's actually helpful, though, because you guys are East Coast to West Coast, so there's a lot of coverage there for time zones.
Yeah, so with the hiring of people on both coasts, we can now be available, 8 to 5 in all of the U.S. time zones. So
beautiful.
And Canadian time zones, I guess they're the same, right?
Yeah.
Although I think we miss Nova Scotia on the outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, back to you and the time you've been here. What's because you've just seen it all, but talk about the change. What do you feel like's the biggest change? And it's hard sometimes because we're in it, so it's the boiling frog thing where you don't notice. But what do you think are the biggest differences from 18 years ago and today?
18 years ago, well, first of all, there were 50 less people because I think we had 20 people, including developers at that time. Wow. And now I think we have 20 developers.
At least, yeah.
Yeah. I think we have it feels more like a team now. When I started the support team, we were connected and we were good together, but we didn't really work with the catalog team the way we do, or the development team the way we do. So that's, I think, a big change internally. And we didn't even have a marketing team at that time. The client support team did the account maintenance, the working on the site each month. That was actually when we would, every 6 months, we had a list of things we would do, update the homepage, and every 6 months change the template.
Oh, I don't remember that
because,
part. That must,
you got to give them a fresh look.
Yeah.
That was when we had 5 templates, and you could only pick 3 colors on each one. So that's a lot different than it is now.
I thought you were going to talk about those. We used to have to do the financial and tech contact phone calls. At least once a year, we had to talk to the decision makers, and at least twice a year, we talked to the technical contacts.
Wow. That was before my time, for sure.
Oh, yeah. Everybody in support was assigned a group of like 100 accounts, 80 to 100, and you had to check in on their site and make suggestions like every 90 days, and then make sure you had a phone call, as Mark said, at least a couple of times a year, but giving them suggestions for what to do. So
crazy. Cool. Now, imagine doing that with as many clients as we have now, and as many people are working in these stores. It's wild.
Yeah. You can still get a site review. Sure. I think we have a form you can fill out and say, review my site, and we're happy to do it. I also think it's good practice for the team to look critically at a site to see things that they might not notice if they're not looking, which also helps them make suggestions for when they're on the phone with somebody about a different issue. And then they can say, hey, I noticed that you have this other thing that you might want to think about changing.
Yeah. So I think kind of similar. I had a question about you've gotten to see Workstand. I mean, from SmartEtailing, changed a lot in retailers and all of that. I mean, what is it like kind of getting to see some of our clients grow?
Oh my gosh, it's been amazing.
Yeah.
I can picture clients that I helped take their site live, or that have, I met with them at Interbike back when that was a thing, or at Trek World, and just they were just figuring it out, and somebody coming up at the trade show and say, I'm thinking about turning on my shopping cart. And then now I know they're one of our, top online sellers.
Yeah. That's amazing.
It's just, it's amazing.
And more of our clients than any of us by a long, and more importantly, they know you. More of our clients know who you are. That's kind of crazy.
Now, see, management changes that, though.
What's that?
I said management changes that. I don't get to talk to as
they still
many
know
retailers.
You though. Yeah, but the pandemic brought us a lot of new clients. Is it weird that there's so many now that you don't know that you haven't talked to?
It is weird. When we get new retailers, I'm like looking at their site and, working with Raquel or Chris or Allison on what that site looks like so that we can assimilate, I guess, just so I can, when they're talking about a retailer, I know who it is instead of, yeah, Scott is, has a question about this. And I'm like, oh, Scott from, I can't say it, but, from whatever. So that I know who that retailer is, or they'll give me a website name and I'll know that it is Scott. So, or Jeff, or, whatever. But, I think that's important to be able to be aware of the retailers and the issues they're having. But it is hard to not know them all. And there's certainly some that I don't know anymore, but there's also some that I can tell you when they started and what they look like and whether or not they're married and have kids. We just...
Well, we used to see them. You mentioned Interbike. We used to see them. Most businesses that would go to Interbike did so with the concerted effort to find new clients and grow sales and that kind of thing. We always took a different approach to that. I mean, it wasn't like we didn't want to meet new folks, but we used that very expensive time as the one time a year we really could be face to face with clients. And we would schedule these meetings and have those face-to-face things. And you actually saved us all, because the first couple of years I did that before you were really involved, and I think I helped some with scheduling. They would sit us at those tables at 8 a.m. and let us get up at 6 p.m. It was brutal. When you finally got involved, we got a lunch break and a couple minutes to walk.
I was going to say you got an hour to walk around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the first year I got off the plane and went into a little table and got back on the plane for a few days later.
That was it.
It was crazy. So thank you.
Yes.
Barbara's really brought a lot to this company.
In a lot of ways, yeah.
Yeah. So I think kind of some of the go-tos that you mentioned, of folks that would be kind of management or our main points of contacts at shops were typically men's names. And I'm curious if in your time in this company and working with so many retailers, if you've seen that change at all?
I have seen that change. Definitely seeing more women, more people of color. It's been pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Well, and younger people too, men and women, which is, it's like I remember several years ago, someone that I worked with at one shop calling and saying, "Hey, I'm out on my own. I'm starting a brand new shop," and I'm like, "Oh, you're young. It's not ever going to work," but he's still in business and still doing great, which is just so cool to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, there were some women that owned stores from way back.
Yeah. I don't doubt that.
I know, but you're right. The prevalence has changed, and it certainly wasn't the norm.
No. Well, and lots of husband and wife teams. Both of them at the shop doing the work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, our family. I always think of the ladies of Wheel and Sprocket. Mm-hmm. The sisters. Yeah. They're very prominent in the company.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But that is a big change over time and a welcome change.
Yeah. I have a quick, not really random one. Barbara, I think you did an awesome job of kind of introducing all the members of your team and a lot of what they specialize in or a little bit of their background. But I think a big piece of your team kind of has to be experts in all things bike shops, e-commerce, website best practices. It's a lot. I mean, how do you maintain that? Or do you have specialists?
We do have some specialists. Everybody has to have a basic knowledge of things. Last year, well, I guess it's still this year, isn't it? We implemented tests that they have to take on 12 different parts of our software or tools so that they can prove that they're an expert in certain areas. And so I get to grade tests. And, yeah,
because you need something else to do.
Yeah, right. But it's awesome to just see them, how they can learn all the different things that they have to learn, whether it's from somebody else here helping them or taking an online class or an in-person class if it's available. But yeah, so they have lots of things that they have to know. We have a DNS specialist, the person who helps make that new site go live, does the stuff to do the name change. And who else do we have specialists in? We have our onboarding specialists. We have people who specialize in, like Chris Gardner is our person who's specializing in what does that supplier sync feed have in it. When there's an issue, he's the one who can dig in and figure out what's going on there. James is good at the FTP, figuring out the technical things for just about anything. But if I have an FTP question, which is be like how our POS files come to us from Ascend, Edge, other non-Lightspeed users, I'm going to ask James. What else? Cool. There's other specialists.
Yeah. I mean, we've had to lean on your, especially for all those technical pieces. It's just, I mean, we recently changed the URL of our website from SmartEtailing.com to Workstand. We really leaned on your team to help make all that happen, and it runs smoothly. That's also so overwhelming for me just to be like, please help, and someone take care of it, really. And understands that language makes a big difference.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that would have been another project we had, was changing all the help center and everywhere else where the name SmartEtailing was, to change it to Workstand.
Yeah, and helping comb through our website. There was all that transition. There was lots of
things.
It's too bad you couldn't help change it in my head, because after saying SmartEtailing since 2011, I came out of the gate strong. In the last week, I just seemed to be saying SmartEtailing. It's like I reverted.
Yes, I answered the phone. Welcome to, don't say SmartEtailing, Workstand. How can I help you?
Yeah. Well, I've been doing a lot of, so we're planning kind of so 2024 is our 25th anniversary. So I'm trying to planning a lot of things. And I'm like, do I talk about us as SmartEtailing or do I talk about us as Workstand? It's very confusing in my head right now.
Yeah.
You'll figure it out.
Fingers crossed.
Yes.
All right. Well, this has been a lot of fun, Barbara. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us.
Thank you for the invite. It's been awesome to talk about it.
Also, thank you for, letting me through the gates all those years ago.
It was not a bad decision.
That's nice.
I agree. I tried to join Barbara's team, but I think this was right before you started managing that team. So Paul was the gatekeeper. Yeah. He did not let me in.
Ooh.
It's the second time you brought that up recently.
I just think it's funny. It came down between, I think, I know it was between me and maybe someone else too, but Holly.
Oh, yeah.
And so I chose Holly, which obviously the right decision. I ended up on our agency team, which we wouldn't have. Maybe we wouldn't have an agency team without the work that you did. So it all worked out, and now Paul has to deal with me now.
Well, it led the way for the perfect opportunity for you to be on agency, because I think that was really awesome for you.
It was the right fit for sure. Yeah. It all worked out. It's just kind of funny, So, yeah.
Yeah. All right. But we're all here now around the Workstamp.
We are. Yes.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Barbara. It's been fun.
All right.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.